A growing number of citizens across Britain feel increasingly betrayed by those elected to lead them. But one unexpected voice is rising above the noise. Comedian turned commentator Ricky Jett. What many once dismissed as provocative humor has evolved into piercing political commentary. And now, people are listening. Jett, once known for his bold satire, is gaining serious attention for offering what many see as unfiltered, honest insights, filling a void left by traditional journalists and political analysts. The timing of his transformation couldn't be more significant. Public trust in leaders, particularly Labour's Keir Starmer, is at an all-time low. A petition signed by over 3 million people calling for a new election speaks volumes about the frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Starmer's lofty campaign promises of real change have failed to manifest, leaving many voters not just disappointed but angry. And it's in this climate of disillusionment that Jett's message is finding traction. In a recent discussion, Jett reflected on an earlier conversation about activist Tommy Robinson. Though he admitted not knowing Robinson personally at the time, Jett expressed deep respect, particularly for Robinson's outspoken stance on issues many feel are being ignored. Jett shared how emotionally impacted he was after learning more, especially around the topic of child exploitation, an issue he believes is being dangerously overlooked by those in power. As Robinson's legal troubles escalate, Jett is drawing attention to the broader implications of his arrest. He argues this isn't just about one man, it's about freedom of speech and the systemic silencing of those who challenge authority. According to Jett, Robinson is simply the latest in a line of individuals who have spoken out for forgotten communities, only to find themselves branded as threats. And this perspective is resonating especially with citizens outside the political establishment, who feel abandoned by an urban-centric elite that no longer speaks for them. The real question, then, is this: when did free speech become a political battleground in Britain? This goes far beyond Robinson's detention. It touches on the growing divide between the political class and the people they claim to represent. Robinson's vocal defiance, now amplified by Jett's platform, has cut deep into the heart of British politics. Their unlikely alliance represents more than a cultural moment, it marks a shift in how political influence works. Today's public figures aren't content with passive endorsements. They're taking a stand, they're demanding accountability, and their influence is changing the tone and the direction of public debate. Tommy Robinson's arrest, combined with Ricky Jett's unfiltered commentary, has laid bare a troubling reality: a widening rift between the governed and those in power. Robinson's criticism of the system and the swift, forceful response to it has sparked urgent questions about the state's willingness to tolerate dissent. In an age of increasing online surveillance, concerns are mounting that certain opinions, especially those deemed politically inconvenient, are being systematically erased. Critics warn that censorship is no longer just about moderation, it's about suppression. They argue that today's content moderation tools are being weaponized to silence perspectives that challenge the dominant narrative. This, many fear, is a dangerous turn toward authoritarianism. Jett, once viewed simply as a provocateur, is now channeling the collective frustration of millions. His voice, shaped by raw honesty and directness, is becoming a beacon for those who feel unheard. And after 5 uninterrupted years living in the UK under a spouse visa, you reach a major turning point: eligibility for indefinite leave to remain, commonly known as ILR. And make no mistake, this is a significant milestone. Securing ILR means you are officially settled in the UK. You'll no longer face immigration time limits. You can work freely for any employer, and crucially, your right to remain is no longer tied to your partner's status. It's independence in the truest sense of the word. To apply, you'll need to complete the SETM application form. You can submit it up to 28 days before completing your 5-year qualifying period, but timing is critical. Your current visa must still be valid when you apply, so don't leave it till late. Now, let's talk requirements. Much like earlier stages, you must prove your relationship is genuine and ongoing, that you plan to live together permanently, and that you continue to meet the financial and accommodation criteria. But there are two additional hurdles at this stage. First, you'll need to pass the Life in the UK test. This is a 45-minute exam with 24 questions covering everything from British history and culture to laws and societal values. A score of 75% or higher is required to pass that. At least 18 correct answers. Official study materials are available, and proper preparation is key. Second, your English language proficiency must now be at B1 level on the CEFR scale, focusing on speaking and listening. This demonstrates your growing integration into UK society. Once granted, ILR is more than a visa, it's recognition that you've laid roots in the UK, and for many, this is where the journey ends. But for those who wish to take it one step further, there's one final destination: British citizenship. Let's talk about naturalization, the process through which you become a full British citizen. The good news for those married to British nationals is that you don't need to wait 12 months after getting ILR to apply. As soon as you're granted ILR, and as long as you've lived in the UK for at least 3 years, you can begin your citizenship application. There are, however, some important conditions. Your time spent outside the UK matters. In the 3 years leading up to your application, you should not have spent more than 270 days abroad, and no more than 90 days in the final year. You must also meet the good character requirement. This involves a thorough background check looking into any criminal records, immigration law violations, and even financial integrity. It's a holistic assessment, and transparency is vital. If you've already passed the Life in the UK test and the B1 English test during your ILR process, you've already satisfied the citizenship requirement for language and cultural knowledge, so there's no need to repeat those steps. As of 2025, the application fee stands at £1,500, and the processing time typically spans a few months. If approved, you'll be invited to attend a citizenship ceremony, a formal and often emotional event where you'll take an oath of allegiance and officially become a British citizen. And from there, you'll be eligible to apply for your very first British passport. And that wraps up the full journey from your initial spouse visa to the proud moment you hold your British passport in hand. If this video helped clarify the process, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more practical guidance on immigration and life in the UK. From your first visa to becoming a British citizen, the journey may seem complex but broken down into clear steps. It's entirely within reach. Keep in mind that application processing times can vary. For example, a standard spouse visa submitted from outside the UK may take up to 12 weeks, while indefinite leave to remain applications can take around 6 months. That's why it's essential to plan ahead and submit your applications before your current immigration status expires. This path demands patience, careful preparation, and a fair amount of documentation. But the reward of secure and settled life in the UK with the person you love is more than worth the effort. We appreciate you joining us today. We hope this guide has helped demystify the process of UK settlement and citizenship and given you a clearer sense of direction. If you found this information helpful, consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel for more practical updates and guidance on living and thriving in the United Kingdom. Got a question? Leave it in the comments, we'll do our best to respond. But please remember, for personalized advice regarding your situation, it's always wise to consult a qualified immigration solicitor. Wishing you all the best on your journey toward building a future in the UK. Until next time, take care and goodbye.